शक्तिकांता दास का संबोधन इस वक्त चल रहा है। आइए आपको सीधे वहां लेकर चलते हैं।
Simultaneously, and what is more critical is that the state governments also need to completely digitize their land records and the process of verification of the title, so that the title verification process also is simplified. Good morning, everyone. Shri Sanjeev Mehta, President FICCI, Shri A.K. Goel, Chairman IBA, Shri Sunil Mehta, Chief Executive of the IBA, other dignitaries on the dais, members of FICCI and IBA, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. What I mentioned earlier was by way of a starter. Now I will get into the main course. I'm happy to be here. And I'm also extremely happy to have been invited to this annual FIBAC 2022 conference. I distinctly remember that I was here in this hall participating in the FIBAC 2019. That was 3 years ago. So therefore, I am doubly happy to be back after a period of 3 years. Now, this is an important forum for the banking industry as well as for business. We have the presence here of thought leaders, banking practitioners, stalwarts from the industry, and several technology players, some of whom have put up their stalls just outside this hall. So I'm extremely happy and delighted to be in a gathering like this. Now, this conference is being held at a time when the global economy is going through a process of churning. Triple shocks of COVID-19, the war in Ukraine, and the current financial market turmoil have created a toxic mix of factors and circumstances which every country has to grapple with. The International Monetary Fund, in its recent annual meeting, has presented a rather somber outlook for the world economy and the world trade. And it has also gone on to make downward revisions in its growth projections for the current year as well as for next year, and also downward revisions in the volume of global trade. The existing international order is undergoing fundamental shifts in terms of geopolitics and economic relationships. Now, the confluence of these factors and circumstances is reverberating speedily across jurisdictions through various modes and spillovers. With monetary policy actions and stances undergoing a regime shift in the advanced economies, financial conditions have tightened sharply across markets and have accentuated financial stability, and have accentuated what I call, financial stability risks. Emerging market and developing economies, that is EMDs in particular, remain highly vulnerable to these global spillovers. Capital outflows have led to reserve losses, sharp currency depreciations, and spiraling imported inflation pressures. And this has happened across EMDs. Several countries face acute debt distress, while many others are confronted with elevated food and energy prices. Conventional and technocratic policy making is increasingly getting challenged by unconventional and out-of-the-box approaches. In this unsettling global environment, the Indian economy has been growing steadily, drawing strength from its macroeconomic fundamentals and buffers. According to the IMF, India is slated to be one of the fastest growing major economies of the world in the current year as well as in the next year. Our recovery and growth have been more broad-based. Our policies, fiscal, monetary, and regulatory, were prudent, targeted, and time-bound. We were careful to ensure that demand remained in balance while supply conditions improved. As per the high-frequency indicators for the recent months, and in Reserve Bank we monitor nearly 70 high-frequency indicators on a real-time basis. Now, as per these high-frequency indicators, especially for the recent months and the weeks, we find that private consumption, especially urban demand, has remained quite healthy. The contact-intensive services have continued to make smart rebound, and aided by unfettered resumption of activities and full-fledged celebration of festivals after 2.5 years. So you see huge amount of participation we all saw during the Ganapati festival in Maharashtra and other places, and also during the Diwali festival. And as the data is trickling in and flowing in, we find that the sales of various, the overall retail sales of various goods, the white goods and other fast-moving consumer goods have also improved considerably. Now, amidst all this, external demand, however, remains a weak spot in the face of accentuating global economic slowdown. Domestic inflation remains elevated. We are closely monitoring the inflation trends as well as the effect of our past actions. In our view, that is in Reserve Bank's view and in my view, price stability, sustained growth, and financial stability need not be mutually exclusive. In the Mahabharata, during the famous Swayamvara, when the great warrior Arjuna was aiming at the eye of the revolving fish. There was a fish and the fish was revolving during the Swayamvara. I'm quite certain, and he was looking at it through a pool of water which was underneath. I'm quite certain that he would have certainly assessed the speed at which the fish was revolving, the wind conditions prevailing, the intensity of the ripples in the pool of water below, the noise levels in the king's court, and similar other factors. No one can match the prowess of Arjuna, but our constant endeavor is to keep an Arjuna's eye on inflation, which is our primary target. At the same time, we keep assessing other related factors like the evolving inflation growth dynamics, soft indicators like our surveys of consumers and surveys on consumers and businesses, global macroeconomic, financial and commodity market developments, and aspects of financial stability.
तो देश की इकोनॉमी मजबूत है और सही रफ्तार से